guys! Welcome back to my channel. This is Tita Lavinia of Tita's of Pageantry, and for this episode, we will get to tackle the hype beauties for Philippine pageantry in 2022. So please make sure you stick around. Please subscribe to the channel as well as hit that bell notification button for your weekly pageant fix. I knew I was going to make this list, but I didn't want to do this immediately after I gave you a fresh face list. I wanted to listen more to what was circulating out there, and I wanted to hear more concrete evidences of some of these girls actually making it to the nationals this year. So I hope that none of you gets all crazy and tell me, Tita, that's an unbelievable list, or Tita, this list of yours is not accurate. Hindi naman ako manghuhula, guys. I'm just sharing some of the names that are continuously popping up. So, we will be tackling quite a number of girls today that I decided to group them together. So, the first group is called Unfinished Business, and I have two ladies on this group. The first one is our headliner. She is, of course, Maria Isabella Galleria of Sorsogon. Now, Isabella is someone that we have been waiting for to make a comeback in Philippine pageantry. Her first stint was at Binibining Pilipinas in 2019, and then she moved on and became one of the official candidates of Miss Universe Philippines 2020, the inaugural edition. She was in fact one of the more popular names that made the transition to Miss Universe Philippines, and she was a well-oiled machine when she competed. She had the backup of the local government, she had a good name recall, she was one of the youngest as well, so she definitely had a lot of time, and she could pull resources both from fashion as well as pageantry. So in terms of her daily OOTDs, in terms of her photos, her editorials, as well as campaign materials, I think that everything was in place for her in 2020. Now, it was just pretty unfortunate because days prior to the preliminaries, she announced her withdrawal from the competition because she tested positive for COVID. Now, again, we waited for her in 2021. We thought that she would make a comeback because she did not stop with her modeling stints. She did not stop being in, circulation and social media. So we all thought that she would make a return. But instead, we got a statement saying that she wasn't going to pursue her application for 2021, that it seemed that she wasn't quite ready yet, that if she will return, she wants to give it her 100% all. So I guess this was the reason why people are still coming up with her name, because people are anticipating her return for 2022. Next on this list is the beauty from Zambales. She is Joanna Rabe. Joanna is 26 years old, and just like Isabella, she's also 5'8.5". And she's someone who has had stints in local pageantry. But things turned around when she competed and became part of top 30 for Miss Universe Philippines 2021, because the 2021 edition was more cutthroat. For Joanna to move up until top 30, that was, such a huge feat. And looking at her materials from the last edition of Miss Universe Philippines, I feel like she really had potential there. I think that maybe if she will be giving it a try this time, because Joanna had to withdraw her candidacy, unfortunately, this time because of dengue. So my next group is what I call Fabulous Four. Now, these ladies are eloquent. They did really, really well at the time that they competed, and it was just really unfortunate that they were fighting for just one crown. And I'm talking about some of the ladies who made it to top 5 from the 2020 and 2021 edition of Miss Universe Philippines. I am, of course, talking about the beautiful Bella Ismael, Victoria Velasquez Vincent, Pauline Amelinks, and of course, Maureen Robowitz. I think that they were close enough for the crown, but probably had to do some minor tweaks or maybe a major transformation to really get another chance, maybe this time closer at clinching the crown. So, just very quickly, let's talk about them. Bella Ismael hasn't been away from our radar. We thought that she would make a return for 2021, but because she was a runner-up, first runner-up at that, I suppose she had to finish her stint first before she gives it another try. With Bella, I feel like she is prettier, even more so now. I'm looking at her bone structure. I think that this has developed even more from the first time that I got to meet her. Victoria Velasquez Vincent, I think, is one of those candidates who people just can't seem to get enough of. And I understand this because I feel like we've had very little time to really get to utilize this potential. Victoria Velasquez Vincent has also shown authenticity. She was bestowed the title of Miss Universe Philippines Charity, and I think that she put this title in good use. She was very active with the relief operations for Bohol, for those who were victimized by Typhoon Odette. And, she opened up her social media accounts to make sure that, these people in these areas would continue to have awareness and would continue to have like exposure. So she's been working tirelessly. Now, if she gives this one another try, two things. First is that she really has to work on a more powerful pasarela. I mean, we saw glimpses of that. She has it in her. I feel like she just has to maybe give it more of a push of confidence this time. And as for styling, we don't have any issues with her styling. This one can definitely style herself. But, for the final, she might need more of help just for a fresher look. But in terms of like doing this on a daily basis, just in case, she gets to represent us in, one of the international pageants, then no problem with styling on this one. Pauline Amelings, I feel, is still one of the prettiest faces in Philippine pageantry. I have been hearing whispers here and there that she might give this year another try. A lot of people are really hoping that Pauline gives it another try, but this time for Miss World Philippines, because people are really recognizing that she has qualities that are more suited for Miss World Philippines. And looking at her, she released some new materials recently. I think that her face is still stunning. Hair and makeup is, pretty much on point these days. But if she wants to give it a try this time, either at Binibini or maybe Miss World Philippines or maybe Miss Universe Philippines again, definitely she has to work on her pasarela even more, maybe work on her body a little bit more. And if she can maybe, shake up the people who have been helping her and really tweak her styling, give it a more current look, because I feel like her styling direction from the past few stints have been more on the formal side. So maybe just a little bit of danger this time, just to contrast that, angelic, MI face. So we'll see. And of course, I also have Maureen Robowitz for this list, because I feel like she was one of those who went above and beyond her expectations. At first, we dismissed her as, some celebrity, just a model type, but we saw from the last stint at Miss Universe Philippines that she held her own. And I mean, she finished first runner-up, guys. I mean, there's definitely something in her. And when Harna Sandu won, and when Nadia Ferreira ended up as her first runner-up at Miss Universe, we all thought Maureen could do really, really well at Miss Universe, just given the chance. So, this next group is actually the largest with 7 names, and I'm calling this group 2.0 Beauties. Now, the reason for this is because these are the ones who either made it to the semifinals for the nationals or have represented us on the international stage, but needed probably some tweaks in styling, some physical transformation, and maybe some growing up, as some of them have been quite young when they started out in Philippine pageantry. So I'm going to start with Cyril Payumo. Now, Cyril is a product of Mutia Pilipinas, and she also happens to be a title holder. She won Miss Tourism International for the year 2019-2020, and the reason why we are hearing more of her name is because Cyril is 5'9", super statuesque. She's only 24 years old, and she's already a veteran of pageantry. And I'm looking at some of her newer materials now. She has definitely transformed. She's looking more edgy. She's looking more polished. Next is Katrina Llegado. Now, I have high respect for anyone who competes at Reina Hispano-Americana. I feel like even if this is a smaller international competition, I'm a little more nervous when it comes to Reina Hispano because I know of their standards. In terms of production, maybe they cannot go head-to-head with the likes of MGI, but I'm looking at how they conduct their business at Reina Hispano when you have all of these, large Latin personalities. So for a Filipina to go head-to-head and compete in a competition held in a place that's just super far, I really have high respect for those who have gone on to compete at Reina Hispano. And for Kat Llegado to do really well, she was 5th runner-up. She went head-to-head with the best of the Latina bodies when she competed. So I want to see her back. She is 5'7". I'm really very excited because if she decides to make a comeback, say at Binibini or maybe at Miss Universe Philippines, then I cannot wait to see more of that sex appeal because, yeah, we are lacking in a little bit of sex appeal, and I know that Kat Llegado will bring it. Next, oh, this one is pretty new, but I wanted her on this list because there was just something really different when I saw her again. Maybe her name won't ring a bell because, she was one of those candidates that, just breezed by and we didn't hear anything from her for the past couple of years, but she seems to be back. I'm talking about Jamie Magbitang. She was 19 years old when she competed in 2018 against Catriona Gray, but she is now 23 and she is still super statuesque at 5'10". Back in 2018, she actually finished top 15 at Binibining Pilipinas, so not bad at all really. But we got to see her again this year. She competed, oh no, not this year, last year she competed at Misfit Philippines and she finished as a runner-up. And I looked at the photos. I remember I was supposed to be part of the press conference or press presentation, and she was one of the candidates that really garnered a lot of looks and a lot of attention because of her Binibini background, because of her height, and because of the transformation that we got to see. So now this one is also very interesting. The number 4 name on this 2.0 beauty list, I'm giving this one to Cristel Abello. Yes, we're not yet done with her. Cristel is 5'7". She is one of the older girls from this group. At 27 years old, Cristel has 1 more year if she wants to really push this. Now, hers is very interesting because she was one of the ladies who took her time before returning to the nationals, and then upon her return, there seems to be no holding back. So it took her 5 years because the first time that she joined the nationals was a stint at Miss World Philippines in 2015, and it took her not till 2020 to go back to Philippine pageantry. Now, we were very surprised to see her in 2021, but her campaign wasn't quite as successful as her first stint at Miss Universe Philippines, where she even bagged the award for Ginebra. Now, maybe she was in the wrong competition all this time. Maybe Miss World Philippines was not for her. Miss Universe Philippines is not for her. Maybe she will have more luck at Binibining Pilipinas. So if she does give this another try this year, as she still definitely has, a little time, go for Binibini. Next, this one is a name that comes up because, we have the tall girls, we have the beauty girls, but every once in a while, we need a body girl. And I'm talking about Chelsea Fernandez, the beauty from Tacloban. Now, Chelsea was Miss Bikini 2020, which means that, we are banking on physique here. She is only 23 years old, and at 5'7", she has nice proportions. And what I like about her is beautiful skin. She's luminous. So, she was Miss Philippines Earth Water in 2019, but she hasn't been seen on the nationals level. So I am hearing a little bit of, whispers here and there that she might make a big step for 2022. So let's see. Number 6 is someone that I feel should give it another try. I'm talking about the alabaster skin, Francesca Taruk of Pampanga. Now, right now, she is the face of Araneta City, so she's been around whenever there are activities for the Binibining Pilipinas ladies, she would also make an appearance. So I'm not yet done with her. I just feel like maybe she was a little misguided during her try at Binibining Pilipinas because, she has a face that can go on the sexy side, and of course a curvy body that's really also very sexy. So if you put 2 and 2 together, that's gonna be super bombastic. So if she does decide to give it another try, because she has all of the other qualities, calm skills, body, face, recognition, fan base, and I think she's also in the good graces of, BPCI, then yes, fresher styling, and something that's more current, something that's more hip, something that is more age appropriate for her. So yeah, I'd love to see Francesca Taruk back. And this one is another name that seems to be gaining momentum as some of her close confidants as well as the people surrounding her have been doing the talking. I'm talking about Diana Mackey, the Phil Kiwi beauty, who also joined Miss Philippines Earth in 2015, but she is more known to a lot of people as a PBB housemate. Now, Diana is only 24 years old, so definitely she has time. She can take her time even, but I think that 2020 is going to be her time as, like what I mentioned, the people around her have been speaking up and have been dropping hints that this is going to be the time that we get to see her at the nationals again. Diana is 5'8", and with that mestiza look, I think that this is something that, can be worked on to make her features softer if she... So, this next group is very specific. I only have 3 names for this group, and I'm calling this MGI Maidens. And obviously, this is because, number one, we haven't won MGI. We've been striving to give them the best. We have been working on it. It's just that, I don't know, maybe they're being too personal with us, or maybe this was the plan all along, but it unfortunately won't stop us from sending them world-class beauties, as they have announced that they will continue their partnership with Binibining Pilipinas. Anna Arnold hasn't competed at Miss International, so if Binibining Pilipinas decides to hold a pageant this year, there is a huge possibility that MGI will be the highest crown. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Having said this, if they give this one a push, either by appointment or either by a competition, then I have these three names that I'm sure you guys have been thinking of as well. First one on my list is Gabriel Basiano, who had a really great showing at Binibining Pilipinas, finishing as high as first runner-up. Gabby is a model, of course, an endorser as well, but she is 5'9", and at only 24 years old, I think that she has everything Uncle is looking for. However, if she is serious in pursuing this the second time around for Binibini, to get that MGI crown, definitely she has to work on her pasarela, and even if she is on the skinny and tall side, she still has to work on her body and give Uncle the nice defined muscles and the curves that he's been looking for. Next, this one has been well received. In fact, she was a recipient of some really nasty bullying from her stint at Miss Universe Philippines, but we can't seem to get enough of her because she is a mix of class and sexiness, and that it factor. I'm talking about Jasmine Umali, who represented Manila at Miss Universe Philippines in 2021. Jasmine is another statuesque beauty at 5'9". She is only 25 years old, and she finished top 16 at Miss Universe Philippines. So we got to see what she could bring to the table, and I think a lot of us liked what we saw the last time. And if it were just up to me, and if it has something to do with appointing someone or having someone groomed for the part, I think that they would do really well with bestowing that title to Graciela Liman. Graciela Liman is the Filipino-Swiss-German beauty who competed at Binibining Pilipinas last year. She is a flight attendant, but she made an impression at Binibining Pilipinas because of her Q&A and because of her killer curves. She is 5'8.5", and at 23 years old, with just the right styling, she could be packaged, very similarly as Elizabeth Clancy. But I think what people are talking most about is her skin and those beautiful curves and that wonderful body proportion that I think will do really, really well at MGI. So now we move into our last grouping, and I am calling this high profile hype. Now these are the ladies whose names keep on popping up. I don't know where they got information that these ladies are even interested to go back, but I may offer a little bit of something for you. So let's see. First on this list is Atisa Manalo. Now everybody has been waiting for Atisa to come back. Now she had a great finish at Miss International when she competed in 2018. She was first runner-up, and I think there were a lot of people who felt that was not enough, because if you look back at what happened in 2018, there were talks that she was actually tied with Miss Venezuela, who happens to be celebrating her birthday at the time of the coronation. So I think that was where the unfair factor came from. But more than anything else, when Miss Universe Philippines broke away from Binibining Pilipinas, it opened more opportunities for repeaters and crossovers. And one of those names that we waited for was actually Atisa Manalo, because we weren't quite ready to let go of her performance at Miss International. So in 2020, at the inaugural edition, she went as far as submitting her application and broke a lot of hearts when just a couple of hours after we drew her application. And we didn't get to hear from her. We didn't get to have any inklings that she might go back into pageantry. And, this year we're hearing more of this. Why is this happening? Well, I think the reason is because, number one, we still want her back. I mean, she's very young. She has a lot of potential, really. So if she goes back, I am hearing that 2022 is the year that she will probably make an appearance. However, if you ask me, if you put our issues aside, because I'm sure you will read about it, I'm sure that you have come across this. I'm not going to even sugarcoat it for you because it's on Google anyway. But if she does have plans of going back, I guess number one, she really has to take the first step and complete that application process. Number two, I'm adamant at really pushing for a comeback because I'm looking at where Atisa is in her life right now. She has a thriving business in the middle of the pandemic that's really doing well. And apart from this, she has added more business portfolio. So just realistically speaking, though, it may not be feasible for Atisa to get into pageantry knowing that she has, people under her, knowing that she has businesses to run. But I guess there are talks of her returning because we have a new camp. It's a breakaway camp run by the likes of Pati Bitita, fashion designer Rene Salud, attorney JV, who also worked with some of the ladies from Aces and Queens, and of course Miss Desiree Verdadero. And this new camp brought along some of the folks who were also close to Atisa. So there are speculations that Atisa might go back into pageantry this year, and that if she decides to go back, then there are also speculations that she might change camps as well. So we'll see. Next is Emma Tiglao. Now, Emma Tiglao is a name that popped up because apparently Emma has been sending feelers that she's interested to go back into pageantry. If you're going to ask me, I don't know how true this is, only because I'm looking at Emma. Again, we are in the middle of the pandemic. Emma is quite fortunate to have a job, a stable job as a news anchor in one of the local news stations here in the country. So I'm thinking about this in like a realistic sort of way. Like, if I were in her shoes, would I leave everything behind for pageantry and then, spend for my pageant preparation? So this is one of the reasons why I also wasn't really pushing for Emma, because I'm looking at her situation and it just doesn't seem to, match. However, if she does decide to give it a try, Emma can still go ahead and push for it. She is 27 years old. She is 5'9", and what I like about her is that this is someone who takes her sweet time. When she started out in pageantry, her Waterloo was her communication skills, but she didn't continue with her pageantry journey year after year. She would have longer breaks in between, and I feel like this is someone who really takes time to develop herself, to really takes time to really hone her skills. And by the time she transitioned to Binibining Pilipina, she was one of the more able speakers from that batch. Next, this is a name that continuously pops up as well. I am talking about Patch Magtano. Now, Patch, just like Atisa, was one of the favorites for Miss International when she competed. Patch is of course a lawyer. She is 5'9". I think this is also one of the reasons why a lot of people are really pushing for her, because a lot of us are still hooked up on height. So she finished top 8 at Miss International in 2019, and because of her comm skills, because of her lawyer background, because of her physical features and what she can bring to the table, her name, it's just commonly dropped whenever we have these lists. But let me just also give you some information. Patch is already 27. By April, she will turn 28. So if she decides to pursue this, she will have really very little time, and that's not even a guarantee as well. So from what I heard, Patch started with her law firm last year, so she's still pretty new, which means that this year, 2022, she's still considered new. So again, realistically speaking, this may not even be in the works for Patch, because if you have a stable job in the middle of the pandemic, then deciding to go into pageantry and allotting time, money, and a lot of effort may not be such a good idea. But yeah, if there is clamor for Patch, and if there is definite word that Patch might go ahead and give it a try for Miss Universe Philippines, then why not? And the last lady on this list is someone that everybody has been talking about Steffi Aberasturi. Steffi is 27 years old, so she has a little time to really, push for it. She finished second runner-up at Miss Universe Philippines, but it just seems that it isn't enough. It just seems like we want to shake her. It seems like we want another go for her as long as she tweaks her Q&A and that comm skills. So I think she has everything. Height, she's 5'7", good passerella skills, very relatable, really good with her people skills as well. So I honestly think that if money is an issue, or if it's not an issue and they just want more money for the organization, go for Steffi. This is something that we've been saying all along. If they want more recall, if they want more brands to clamor, Steffi is a really good choice, actually. Well, considering Steffi does well in the competition. Now, at first, I did not think that this was something that was going to happen for Steffi. I remember hearing conversations saying that Steffi just wants to slow down and settle down, that it might be time, as she has been a fixture in modeling and pageantry in Cebu, that it might be time for her to settle down. But I don't know, just these past few weeks, I'm hearing something different. In fact, other admins have been hinting of a possible crossover. And I'm not talking about crossover in terms of joining a national pageant. I'm talking about a crossover in camp. And there have been talks that for her to secure a position this year for a representation at Miss Universe, and it's definitely because Steffi jumped ship from KF to ACES this time. So for me, I really don't care which camp she belongs to. I feel strongly for Steffi, and I also recognize that Steffi needs work in certain areas, just like you do. So for me, if I am perceived as someone who's really rooting for Steffi, then I'm not blinded by the things that she has to work on. So if she gives it another try, I think that I will be as supportive as well. But I also feel like there's more pressure for her, because if she gives it another try, then I'm sure this has something to do with her potential, her money-making potential, and of course, she really has to give it her all if she wants to succeed this time. So there you have it, folks. I have given you the hype names. I am, of course, not sure if these names will go on and will sign up for any of the nationals this year, but I do hope to see them mixed with the other newer faces that I mentioned. So for now, goodbye.